In the town of Shadowvale, the carnival arrived like clockwork. Its neon lights casting eerie glows across the sleepy town. Emily and her friends, Lena, Jake, and Alex, gathered at the entrance, their laughter mingling with the distant music coming from all of the rides. The air buzzed with excitement as they wandered past candy stalls, their laughter punctuated by the occasional scream from the roller coaster. Lena, with her wild curls, insisted on trying every game, the ring toss, the duck pond, even the rigged shooting gallery. Jake, the daredevil, challenged the strongman to a futile arm wrestling match. And Alex, the skeptic, scoffed at the fortune teller's predictions, dismissing them as mere parlor tricks. But Emily noticed something odd. Amid the colorful chaos, she glimpsed a pale-faced clown, always at the edge of her vision. It stood near the carousel, its painted grin frozen in place. Whenever she turned to face it, the clown vanished, leaving only a lingering sense of unease. She brushed it off as a trick of the flickering lights, but the clown's eyes haunted her. She began to think it was just in her head and maybe she wasn't even seeing the creepy clown. As the night settled, they reached the funhouse, its entrance flanked by faded banners promising thrills beyond imagination. Emily hesitated, her gaze drawn back to the carousel. There, atop a wooden horse, sat the same clown. Its grin widened, revealing jagged teeth. Emily shivered, wondering why the carnival's most sinister figure seemed fixated on her. Little did she know that the funhouse held secrets darker than any distorted mirror could reveal.
Let's hit the funhouse. I heard it's freaky.
Lena said, her eyes gleaming. Emily hesitated, staring off at the carousel as if in a trance.
Is everything okay?
Lena asked, wondering why Emily seemed so distraught. Emily answered as if she had snapped out of it.
Of course. Why wouldn't everything be okay?
She didn't want to startle her friends. Honestly, she couldn't tell if the clown following her was real or just a dark figment of her imagination. The friends headed to the entrance. The funhouse had always been a mix of excitement and dread. Tonight, though, she felt an odd pull, a curiosity that tugged at her gut. Inside, the air smelled of damp wood and old paint. The mirrors distorted Emily's reflection, elongating her limbs and warping her face. She laughed nervously, following the twisting path. The walls seemed to whisper secrets, but she couldn't make out the words. As she turned a corner, one mirror stood out, an antique oval framed in tarnished gold. Emily approached, her breath fogging the glass. But this mirror didn't reflect her. Instead, it revealed a shadowy figure behind her, a clown with hollow eyes and a wicked grin. Emily pushed the mirror, expecting it to swing back into place. Instead, it yielded, revealing a narrow passage. She stepped through, her pulse quickening. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in. She stumbled into a hidden chamber, a room filled with cracked porcelain dolls, their eyes following her every move.
Hello.
A voice echoed. Emily spun around to find the clown that had been following her all night, standing there, its face painted with malevolence.
I've been waiting for you all night.
Emily's heart pounded as she stumbled, turning around. It was the clown. She'd caught glimpses of him earlier, lurking in the shadows, but now he stood right in front of her. His face, painted in grotesque colors, was inches away. His eyes, hollow, devoid of humanity, locked onto hers. In his gloved hand, he gripped a sledgehammer, its metal head stained with something dark. Emily's mind raced. She had to escape, but the maze of passages twisted and turned, leading her deeper into the carnival's heart. She fled, her breath ragged, not knowing where to go or how to get out. The clown followed, his laughter echoing off the warped walls. Panic clawed at her chest. She couldn't let him catch her. She had to survive this nightmare. And so, Emily ran, her footsteps echoing through the funhouse, a desperate rhythm of fear and survival. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows, and Emily's pulse drowned out all other sounds. She darted around corners, her palms scraping against rough wood. The clown's footsteps were relentless, closing in. She glimpsed a sign, exit. Hope surged, but when she burst through the door, she found herself in a room filled with broken mannequins, their limbs twisted like grotesque sculptures. The clown emerged, his grin wider now.
There's no escape.
He whispered, his voice a serrated blade. Emily's eyes darted. She spotted a narrow window, its glass cracked. She lunged, shards slicing her skin as she squeezed through. The carnival grounds lay deserted, the rides frozen in eerie stillness. Stumbling, Emily's legs burned as she sprinted through the empty pathways. The clown was relentless, his laughter echoing off the warped walls. She glimpsed the Ferris wheel, its skeletal structure casting elongated shadows. But there was no escape. Emily's lungs screamed for air. She stumbled, her knees scraping against the gravel. The clown closed in, his painted face inches away. His breath smelled of decay. In his gloved hand, he wielded the blood-covered sledgehammer, a weapon forged in nightmares.
Your screams. They're my favorite melody.
Emily's mind raced. She had to fight back. She reached for a stick, its jagged edge sharp. But the clown was faster. He knocked it from her hand, sending her sprawling. The sledgehammer swung down, missing her head by inches. She rolled, adrenaline numbing the pain. Lena, Jake, and Alex continued their frantic search. They combed the carnival grounds, calling Emily's name. Panic etched lines on their faces. They'd assumed she'd left, but something gnawed at their hearts, a sense that she was still here, lost in the maze of mirrors and shadows. And there, in the dim light, they saw her, Emily, lying motionless on the cold ground. Her clothes were torn, her skin bruised. Blood pooled around her head. And above her, the clown loomed, his grin wider now. His eyes met theirs, and he raised the sledgehammer, ready to deliver the final blow. Lena screamed, her voice raw with desperation. Jake and Alex rushed forward, their fear fueling their strength. But as they closed in, the sledgehammer slipped from the clown's grasp, clattering to the ground. His laughter turned hollow, fading into the night. Emily stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Lena cradled her head, tears streaming down her face. She whispered,
We found you. You're safe now.
but where was the clown? He'd vanished, leaving only a chilling whisper in the shadows.
I'll be back.
The friends carried Emily, their footsteps heavy. The carnival would never be the same, the laughter replaced by echoes of horror. As they emerged into the dawn, they glanced back one last time, seeing nothing but emptiness. And so, they vowed to protect Emily, to unravel the carnival's dark secrets. But deep down, they knew, the clown would return next summer, hungry for revenge. And this time, they'll be ready. In the quiet town of Shadowvale, the carnival's laughter had turned to screams, and the friends would forever carry the weight of that blood-stained night.